Welcome to the trial of Countess Elizabeth Báthory. Raise your hand if you've heard of Elizabeth Báthory. What have you heard?
She bathes in the blood of virgins.
She killed a bunch of people.
She started one of the first school for peasant girls to get her victims.
Yes, and they were all young females.
So Countess Elizabeth Báthory de Ached, which is anglicized to Elizabeth Báthory, was a 16th century Hungarian countess who was arrested in 1610 for supposedly torturing and murdering anywhere from 80 to 650 young women, many of whom were her own servants. Some claim that she bathed in the blood of these virgin girls to keep herself looking young and beautiful. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, she is the most prolific female serial killer of all time. However, she never stood trial for her crimes. According to a deal that her relatives made with the king, she was placed under permanent house arrest. She died alone in her castle. She never got her day in court. She never got a chance to defend herself. She is getting that chance today. Elizabeth Báthory will defend herself in front of you. You, the audience, will be her jury. Your collective decision, determined by a majority vote, will determine Báthory's fate. Is she innocent? Or is she guilty? That is for you to decide. Listen well. Pay attention. Enjoy.
Elizabeth Báthory de Ached was born in 1560 at near Báthory, a child of inbreeding, into one of the most
Elizabeth
powerful...
was a child of incest, and that's why she
the
was
Guinness
so
Book of World Records calls her the most prolific female serial killer.
The main thing that people know about her is that she bathed in the blood of virgin girls. But she did so much
She
more.
suffered seizures and fits of rage as a child, foreshadowing her violent and sadistic tendencies.
I mean, though,
later.
her whole family was fucked up. Her Aunt Clara was a lesbian who also, tortured her female servants for
Her
enjoyment.
accomplices used their power as heads of households to find victims for Báthory before she tortured and murdered them. Most of them were around 10 to 14 years old. The younger, the better. The little
At
girls
age
were
10, she
easy
was
to-
engaged to the 16-year-old Count Rarig Nadajdi Dinastad at Forgarsfold. They
And I mean,
married in
her husband was fucked up
1575.
too, but he was better than men he just
In 1578, Ferenc became the chief commander of the Hungarian troops, leaving Erzsébet to run the household and the estate, as well as protect her husband's estates en route to Vienna,
She
which
would
were being
use a
threatened by
variety
the
of
Ottomans.
instruments to torture and murder her victims. A whip, a cudgel, a fire iron, a needle, a pair of cutting
And
shears.
Elizabeth was back at home, or over at bisexual Aunt Clara's estate, having lots of sex with all of these women.
Not that she actually did look young and beautiful from all accounts. She died looking
She
like
would bite out pieces of flesh from the girls, sinking her teeth into their soft
By 1601, the
virgin
rumors had started. Young servant girls were dying.
She attacked them with knives, slashing and cutting until she was
Talk about
splashed.
irony. She tried her best to stay beautiful, and she ended up dying alone, looking like an old...
Parents were told they had died of illness, but the locals claimed they were being tortured.
When she was sick in bed and couldn't move, she would bring her victims over to her and bite their faces and shoulders instead
A
of...
Croatian woman named Ana Dragulja was already living in the Dajdi household and was running a torture and execution mill.
Of course,
with
her
knowledge
main
of
lover was Anna Dervolja, and she was the one who really taught her.
She stuck needles under their fingernails, and if anyone tried removing the needles, she would cut off their
She
fingers.
was like over 50 when she finally died. She'd been under house arrest for 3 years by then. Imagine how awful she was.
Dervolja was smart, and she made sure that all the victims were poor.
In 1604, Ferenc died from a mysterious illness. He entrusted the responsibility of looking after his heirs and widow to Georgi Thurzo. This man would later become the Palatine of Hungary and would later lead the
On the
investigation
night of
into sordid
December
crimes.
29th, in the year of our Lord, 1610, the snow was falling as we approached Serge the Castle, the home of Elizabeth Báthory.
She locked her victims in dungeons and beat them until their bodies swelled up from the punishment. She would cut their swollen bodies with razors and hungrily
After
watched
her husband's death, Erzsébet could no longer rely on his protection from their many enemies, as well as from the
After
consequences of her
Dargolia went
deeds.
blind and died, the Countess took over, and she started to murder upper-class girls. And
By 1610, rumors of Erzsébet's horrific deeds had reached Vienna, and the newly crowned King Matthias II ordered Thurzo to investigate
She got
Erzsébet.
sloppier and sloppier, and the pastor at the church stopped performing Christian burials, which meant that Elizabeth didn't have anywhere to put the bodies. So she fucking dumped them all.
She clearly hated herself and lashed out against younger women because she was envious of their youth.
She stripped one of the victims naked, smeared her with honey, and drove her out into the cold, not
My
allowing
men
her
and
back.
I leapt off our horses and crept up the thin pathway to the entrance. We did
Thurzo and his two notaries collected testimony of her guilt from over 300 witnesses, including some of Báthory's own
as we
staff.
opened the wooden door into her front entrance hallway. A sight so awful met
In
our
December of 1610, Thurzo and his men arrested Erzsébet at Chezd Castle, along
A
with her
young
accomplices.
servant girl, no more than 14 years of age, lay dead before us, her virgin blood staining the stone.
Countess Elizabeth Báthory, you have been charged with multiple counts of adultery, multiple counts of aggravated
Although
assault.
King Matthias wanted her dead, Thurzo was persuaded by Báthory's family to aid in sparing her, and Thurzo convinced King Matthias that a speedy trial and execution would negatively affect the
The
nobility.
air stank of death and unhuman.
Multiple counts of bisexuality, multiple counts of child abuse, multiple counts of harassment, multiple counts of
As we entered the
kidnapping.
dining room chamber, we found Erzsébet and her accomplices torturing another
Erzsébet
servant.
was placed under permanent house arrest and solitary confinement.
Multiple counts of lycanthropy, multiple counts of murder in the first degree, multiple counts of murder in the second.
Her name was never to be spoken in polite society again.
We rescued the girl and continued on to find more and more wounded servants, as well as dozens locked
Multiple
up
counts
in the
of
dungeon.
perjury, multiple counts of sexual assault.
She died in August of 1614 and was buried in the church of Chezd Castle in November, until her remains were moved to the Báthory family estate in 1617.
Multiple counts of vanity and multiple counts of vampirism.
This woman, this witch, this Countess Báthory has been caught red-handed in her crimes, and she has now been apprehended.
Her thirst for blood and murder were unquenchable.
She was said to be the most beautiful woman in the world.
What a horrible bitch.
Justice.
The location of her body is still currently unknown.
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you understand me? Strange. I have not spoken for a long time. 400 years is a long time to be silent. My name is Erzsébet. Or was. Am I still Erzsébet Báthory? Do you lose your identity after you die? Or are you still you? A twisted version of me lives on in the legends. That name inspires fear and terror and hatred. Is that me different from this me? The legends are so far from the truth. You are here for my story. You are here to judge me. You will decide my fate. Very well. My name is Elizabeth Báthory, and I am innocent. I did not do these things. I did not murder or torture these women. The evidence is false and manipulated. The legends you have heard are wrong. My reputation has been exaggerated to the point of ridiculousness. My character has been slandered, my actions obfuscated. I am not what the legends say I am. I am innocent. There is no physical evidence for my crimes. There was no physical evidence for my crimes. No corpses, no murder weapons, no body parts were ever found. Only witnesses who told stories. The number of victims never aligned. Every witness had a different number. Someone claimed I killed 80 people. Someone else claimed I killed 650 people. Some men, writing hundreds of years later, took a sum of all the claims to get their number. These are not small discrepancies. These are wide gaps in accuracy. None of the witnesses saw me committing any crimes. They heard rumors and were tortured into confessing them as truth by the powerful men trying to erase me from history. The King of Hungary, King Matthias, hated me. He owed my dead husband money, but refused to repay me. He resented the aid I gave to my cousin who was plotting a rebellion against him. He sent no armies to defend my lands when they were attacked. He wanted my lands for himself. He wanted me gone. But I refused to give in. I raised my own armies to protect my lands. I never stopped petitioning to be repaid. I found allies on my own. I was a strong and powerful woman in the 16th century. I was a threat. But the rumors were circulating and King Matthias believed them. He wanted to get rid of me, so rumors and lies were enough to slander my name. I was wiped from Hungarian history. My true story was forgotten, and only the legends live on. Have you heard the legends of Countess Elizabeth Báthory? They say I murdered my servants. They say I was caught red-handed. They say I bathed in their blood. They say I was a vampire, or a werewolf, or a bisexual dominatrix. Unfounded lies. My narrative is no longer one simple story. It has been refracted. I am one iteration, telling you that I am innocent. Did I bathe in blood? Was I a vampire? Was I an envious crone? Did I hate women? No. I never bathed in anyone's blood. There are no records from my time that mention it. The first time it appeared was over 100 years after my death, in a paper written by a Catholic monk named Brother Laszlo. Laszlo invented the blood-bathing story. He invented that I was a vampire. He invented that I thought it kept me looking young and beautiful. The vampire rumor aided his Habsburg masters in keeping Europe Catholic. If Protestants like me were vampires, then we were undesirable and untrustworthy. He revived my story, soiled my reputation, and shamed the Hungarian people with my infamy. Laszlo was not a reliable source. But this lie has persisted. So many lies have persisted. Was I a werewolf? No. That came from a man writing about me in his travel log. It was quoted by another man writing about vampires, werewolves. Was I an adulterer? A lesbian? Did I have illegitimate children I had murdered? No. All those came from more men, writing about me 300 years after I died. They used folklore and peasant stories as their sources. Objectivity and accuracy do not exist in any of these stories about me. All the men writing about me built on each other's work. They accepted the lies as gospel. But why? Why am I always guilty? Because they want me to be a villain. I was a strong and powerful woman and a real person. But it tells a better story if I am a villain. If I am made fiction. If I am the bloody Countess. If I am Countess Dracula. Ah, Transylvania. What a boon for their tourism industry. Even my homeland does not insist on my innocence. They capitalize on my guilt and perpetuate the lies. The lies that have hid the woman I was. I am not what they have made me. I was a strong partner to my husband. I was a widow who demanded equal treatment. I was a good mother to my children. I was a protector of women despite the lies. An old woman's home was vandalized, her property stolen, and her daughter raped. It was my responsibility to deliver justice within my estate. This woman begged for my help, and I did. I urged the deputy to punish those men who had violated those women. I wanted to protect those women. I wanted to ruin the men who had destroyed them like they were nothing. The same way I would be destroyed like I was nothing. I felt a kinship with women and the struggles we face. I cared about their well-being, their safety, their happiness. Why would I violate young women? Why would I torture and murder them? Why would I do the same thing I wanted to ruin those men for? But people want spectacle, a horrifying tale to sink their teeth into. Many have claimed I acted strange, but they warped the truth. I suffered from many mental disorders, untreated epilepsy. I was not evil. I was sick and suffering. I will not claim I was perfect. I was raised in the aristocracy. I was privileged. I had responsibility and power. I had to control my household. I had to exercise discipline to ensure order and prevent chaos. The chaos that plagued Hungary. There was a disastrous peasant revolt. They raided villages, murdered priests. They wreaked havoc on the countryside. The nobility stopped the bloodshed. The peasantry were forever made serfs as a future warning. But there were still many peasant revolts within my lifetime. I raised armies to protect my lands, my family. I had to keep order in my household. If my servants disobeyed me, they needed to be punished, to be taught that my household would not fall to rebellious commoners. I would not be disrespected simply because I was a widow. I tried to ensure the safety of myself, my children, and my family. I tried to run the household as best I could. I tried to protect our reputation. I never sadistically participated in the act of torture or murder. The legends are lies. I am innocent. I am not the villain these men have tried to create. There was no physical evidence, only misconstrued testimony. All we have are stories. Stories which are lies. Lies written by men. Men that never knew who I was. There is a line from one of my surviving letters. Know you this, that I will not allow myself to be dominated by men for long. I will not allow myself to be dominated by men for long. A translation of one of my most famous lines. My reputation has been slandered by men. My legend has been shaped by men. My story has been warped and whittled by men. I will not allow myself to be dominated by men for long. This line is a promise, a vow, a prophecy. Keep my promise. Hold my vow. Make this prophecy come true. Break my refracted narrative. Everyone who told stories about me was biased. Everyone has motive. No one tells the truth. There is no truth. The true story of Erzsébet Báthory is locked in Castle Chesde and will never be known. Even I am not real. I am a construction, a patchwork of research trying to be as accurate as possible. But with me, with the past, accuracy doesn't exist. The true story of Erzsébet Báthory does not exist. It is yours to create. Decide my fate. Shape my narrative. Create my story. I was a strong and powerful woman, underestimated and overpowered by the men around me. There was no physical evidence for any of my crimes. The legends are born from lies. I was innocent. I am innocent. My name is Erzsébet Báthory, and I am innocent. This is my truth. This is my story. So, raise your hand high if you think she was guilty.
By our standards or theirs?
Whatever floats your boat. No in-betweens, yes or no?
Guilty of what? Of all of this? Of 650 million?
Even one makes her guilty.
Whatever you choose to believe. Raise them high, you gotta vote.
Innocent or guilty does not detract from the excellent pathos of the soliloquy you just gave us.
Make the decision and raise them high. I gotta count, folks. Is that everyone for guilty? Raise them high. Keep them up. Raise them high, guys. This is hard. Okay. Raise your hand high if you think she was innocent. Raise them high and keep them up. Okay, put him down. So you voted her innocent. Why? What made you think that?
No evidence.
Anyone else?
The fact that all the rumors, all the source material about her came from folklore, peasant stories, and didn't come out when she was alive.
Just how the level of inconsistencies within the evidence that was put forward just raises some questions.
Based solely on the fact that she was a woman, she had money, and she had power.
You didn't actually address this in the show, but the original evidence entered against her was arrived at through torture in the first place.
I did say that. Maybe I didn't.
You did.
Usually once in passing.
Okay, I missed it then.
Also, in her own time, there were plenty of motives against her by the people who accused her.
That's why she had a trial, not for whether she
What about those of you who thought she was guilty? Why?
Her power was really not ensured. She had plenty of motive to kill people, but not in a serial killer fashion.
Anyone else for guilty?
She came from a very privileged family in a very, very intensely violent time in the Hungarian wars. And she witnessed tremendous, tremendous violence as a child, and in her family, in her home and things. And there were hundreds of young women that came through her castle, her home, and disappeared.
You back there.
The question that I thought was being asked is, did I believe that you murdered somebody, or that did she murder somebody? And explicitly you stated that there was a peasant revolt and that you had to show the peasants who's boss. So I do think you killed peasants. And so if that's the question, then yes, you committed manslaughter. Also, sorry, yeah. Also,
She did.
Yeah, also, that's it.
Do you think she'd still be, even if she did it, if she was mentally ill, does that still make her guilty?
Right.
Anyone else for guilty?
Okay, this isn't a real point, but you just like don't hear about women serial killers, and I feel like they've got to be out there, and why
not? So, you voted her innocent. So she is innocent. I promised you your decision would matter. But it didn't. Báthory is dead. And we can't bring her back. If she was guilty, she escaped punishment. She lived under permanent house arrest and then died in her castle. If she really was guilty, she did not face consequences that were in any way equal to her crimes. If she was innocent, she couldn't prove it. Her name, her legacy, her family were destroyed. If she really was innocent, then her infamy is built on a perpetuated lie. There is no truly exculpatory evidence. There is no way to actually know. Then what was the purpose of this? Why did I tell you this story? Countess Elizabeth Báthory was a woman in power, and she was destroyed by the powerful men who feared, hated, and mistrusted her. This same fear destroyed Bloody Mary. It destroyed Lizzie Borden. It destroyed Anita Hill. It destroyed Hillary Clinton. It destroyed Christine Blasey Ford. This same fear, hatred, and mistrust allows us to justify destroying powerful women because they pose a threat to the systems that have kept them subjugated. We have a fascination with watching women who chose to subvert from the norm, and we like to watch them suffer. Why? Why do we fear women in power? Why do we hate them? Why do we mistrust strong women? I wish I had answers. I'm here to ask questions. So should you. Stop and think. Undo the knot that someone else tied in your brain. And instead of destroying empowered women, destroy the systems that empowered their destruction.